everyone. Today we are making split pea soup to can and put away on the shelves for my kids to help themselves to whenever they want lunch. I have a teenager and a preteen, so they are perfectly capable of helping themselves to lunch on the weekends and on vacations, so it gives me time to take care of other things. So I do things like make them food on the shelves that they can take care of themselves. Now, my kids and my husband don't like their split pea soup super thick. They like it thinner and more pea flavored than actual thick split pea soup. So if you want this to be thick split pea soup, I say add 3 pounds of split peas. I'm only adding a pound. We'll be back when we get all this set up, chopped up, and go over all the ingredients for you, step by step. Alright, let's get this assembled. First we're going to put the liquids and the spices together and get them all mixed up. So here I have 2 quarts of home canned pork broth, pork bone broth. You can just use pork stock or pork broth, or even pork powdered stock, or that Better Than Bouillon pork stock, and make 2 quarts of stock. Then I have 1 quart of veggie stock. Altogether we want 8 quarts of liquid, so I'm going to get it all in there. So we have 3 quarts so far. I'm going to add 5 quarts of water. We'll be back. Alright, 8 quarts of stock for our soup. Then in here I have 1 tablespoon of any salt of your choice and 1.5 tablespoons of pepper. Then we have 1 tablespoon each of garlic powder and onion powder. Quarter cup chopped onions. Those dehydrated ones that you can buy in the store. Now these, unless you dehydrate leeks yourself, you're going to want to use 1 large leek stock or 2 small, and you'd add those later. But since I do my own dehydrated, I have 1 cup of dehydrated leeks, and they go in now. Then we're just going to mix all this up. Now, 2 cups of about 1 inch chopped carrots. You can add 2 pounds or 3 pounds of split peas if you want, but my family doesn't like ours so thick, so I do 1 pound. Quarter cup minced garlic. Pounds of ham chopped up into about 1 inch pieces. I like to clean off as much of the fat as absolutely possible. I am making pork and beans later in another video here in a little bit, so I want all the fat I can. So this is 2 pounds of nice cleaned up ham. And then I'm going to put this on the stove and bring it up to a nice boil and boil it for about an hour to help those split peas start to break down nicely so we can get them into jars and get it canned. Let's get this on the stove. We'll be back. Here we go on the stove. We're going to turn it on medium high, and we're going to bring it up to a boil, and once it comes up to a boil, we're going to cook it for about an hour so that the split peas start to break down. We'll be back. Now that it started boiling, I turned it down to medium-low, or about 6, and I'm just going to let it boil for a couple hours until these beans start to really soften up and start to get squishy, and then we'll can it. We'll be back. We've been boiling for about an hour and a half, and the peas have started to break down nicely and plump up. We're going to keep letting it go for about another half an hour, and then we'll put it in the jars for canning. We'll be back. We've been boiling for 2 hours. As you can see, a large quantity of the liquid has gone down. It has evaporated in the boiling process and has been absorbed by the peas and the other dehydrated vegetables. The peas are a little bit more than half broken down. If you had more peas in here, it would take a lot more boiling. Probably 4 or 5 hours of boiling. But I've only got a pound. So we're going to turn this off and put it into our jars. We'll be back. Alright, here's our jars. Here's our soup. Make sure that you stir it before each spoonful. That way you get a good mix of everything. You get a couple of big scoops of all of the different ingredients. And then fill it up with juice. Then we move on to the next jar. We'll be back when we get all the jars filled that we're going to get filled. I think I'm going to get 5, possibly 6 jars. So I know for sure 5 quarts, maybe 5 quarts, 1 pint. We'll be back. I ended up with 7 full jars. Alright, so we're going to take a clean washcloth because this is an oily soup and it got on the rims. We're going to wipe it off and clean it. In here I've got apple cider vinegar with very, very warm water. So we can clean the rims and the rings of these lids. Then we take a jar, a lid, onto the jar, rings, fingertip tight. Right, I'm going to get the rest of these jars done and into the canner. We'll be back. All of our jars are in the canner. We're going to add our apple cider vinegar water to that. And as you can see, I've got the water up to around the lower part, right as it's starting to bubble up on the jars. Then we're going to put our lid on our canner. Close it, turn it on about medium high, and let it go. This is going to come up to a boil inside, and then this will pop up, and then this will start to have a full steam out of it, and then we will vent it for 10 minutes. We will be back when the venting process has begun so you can see what that looks like. Our button has popped up and we are at full steam. As you can see, we're going to let this steam and vent for 10 minutes. We'll be back. We've been venting for 10 minutes. Now we're just going to put our weight in here. Always make sure you do your weight according to your elevation. For us, it's below 1,000 feet, so it's 10 pounds of pressure. And we always go for length of time, processing time, for the longest product in what we're making. And in here we have meat, so it's automatically 90 minutes. 90 minutes of processing. When this gets up to a jiggle, we'll bring you back and I'll show you what processing look like, and then we will set our timers. It's been 90 minutes, so we're going to turn off our canner and let it completely come down and cool on its own. This button will pop down and fall when it is time for you to open it up and check on it. We'll be back. Oh, and remember, this will take at least half the amount of time that the processing took. So the whole cool down process will take a good 45 minutes. We'll be back. The button has popped down. We're going to test it to make sure there's no air escaping. Take that off. Always open it away from you because there will be lots of steam. And then we're going to let it sit for 5 minutes, and then we'll pull them out of the canner. We'll be back. The canner has been cooling for 5 minutes. We're going to pull our jars out carefully because they are still boiling. See? The boiling, which is a good sign that you got your jars up to temperature. We're going to pull these out and let them sit for 24 hours, and we'll be back when they have sat and cooled. Here we go. 7 jars of split pea soup. Now remember, this isn't normal split pea. I don't have a ton of split peas in here. I have a very low amount of split peas. So it's not going to be all green and mushy looking and stuff. But it's going to taste wonderful. It smelled wonderful. I hope you enjoyed my video, and I hope you learned a lot. Thank you for coming along on this adventure. And if you want to see more and learn more, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell down below. If you liked my video today, hit that thumbs up button and share the video. It helps my family out a lot, and it helps me get more videos to you. Thank you, and have a good day. And remember, everyone, stay positive. Bye.